What's up, guys? We got a Mercedes 2008 C300. It's overheating. Customer stated his AC doesn't work. I'm sorry, his heat doesn't work. So I haven't even attempted to check if the blower works. He was coming to me and the car overheated, so now I'm doubting either it doesn't have a coolant because the heat doesn't work, but he never mentioned to me if the car, he was on a highway pretty much, I'm talking about high speed. That means there was airflow. He said the radiator fan. So it could be related. Heat and overheating issue could be related, but customer failed to tell me exactly, because the car, if it overheats on the highway, it's a different story. Because the airflow from the highway really doesn't need a fan. So we're gonna check. We're gonna start out with coolant. This is like a live video. You guys, if you guys got a Mercedes, it's so overheating, you can check it out. So we got a few things. We do want to check a few things. We got some coolant pump over here. So I'm not really a fan of these Mercedes. I don't work on a lot of these. So first of all, I do want to check to see if we got coolant in here. So I'm gonna squeeze this lower pipe to see if the coolant moves up and down. Yep, we got coolant. We got enough coolant. Or do we got enough coolant? Yeah, we got coolant in there. And it seems like there's some kind of particles in there. Some metal particles. So hopefully this guy didn't put no leak stopper in there. All right, that's always an issue. So we're gonna close this up. And yeah, he did put some particles, some type of leak stopper in there. That means your heater core is most likely blocked. We're gonna pop this guy open. We're gonna crank up the engine. And one thing I do like to look is, if you can see the fins here, these look pretty clean. If you got a lot of dirt and debris in there, and that means your radiator is blocked, there's not gonna be flow of air. A lot of people drive on the highway, you can clearly see from right here. So there's a condenser in front of it, so you really gotta go between them. So one thing I do wanna check is, let me see if I can get hold of my camera straight here. I like to wiggle the fan here, okay, before we start up the car, because I do wanna start up the car, let the car run, and see what happens, okay? It could be a lot of things when overheating. Okay, this fan, okay, usually if this fan doesn't move like that, it's stuck, it's stiff, that means the fan is bad. He did mention to me something about the fan, and maybe he had it checked out before. So this fan is kind of wobbly, but we can put the AC on to see if this comes on. At least it'll test the motor if it's noisy and stuff. So we don't know if he changed the thermostat. Thermostat is kind of back there somewhere, right over here, and we don't know if he changed that. The pump, nothing is leaking. I don't see nothing leaking. So those are the few things. Now what we can do is go inside the vehicle. I do want to look at one more thing before that. We got our water pump here, and the belt's gotta go too. Anyways, let's get inside the vehicle. I'm gonna probably take it for a spin or let it just drive here. But let's feel. Let's see. I gotta find the key first. Where did I put the key? I hang the key over here somewhere. Okay, so there's our key. So what I want to do here is, let's see. Question failed to answer my questions, because telling me if the heat died first or the AC car started. So I'm guessing his heat died first, so he doesn't even know if the car was overheating. So I'm gonna crank this baby up. Starts up well. We're gonna put the fan on. So his blower doesn't work here. So this could be a faulty. Try to put it on the max speed. Okay, I don't hear the blower blowing, and I don't see anything coming out of the vent. So that's not related to this. So it does want to kind of kick in there. I can hear the motor wants to turn, but we're gonna leave that alone, okay? So we got the AC on. Let's see if the fan comes on. Okay, the fan hasn't come on yet. Sometimes, be careful with your hands. Sometimes you can turn it and it will start to spin. So our AC compressor is engaged. So the only thing we can check here is power and ground to this fan, which is gonna be kind of difficult to find. Okay, the connector is all the way down there. Okay, we're gonna have to find the connector on this guy. Sometimes what I like to do is I like to take my wrench and okay, so it doesn't come on. I'm pretty sure something to do with the fan, but we'll find that part out. But I do like to have the car. Let's turn off the AC first. I like to see if the car temperature goes up, and that turns the compressor off, I believe so. Ah, it came back on. I pressed it twice maybe. It's off now. And our compressor hopefully is still running. Anyways, what we're gonna do here is we're gonna check the power and ground to the fan. Okay, so what I did so far is so I can show you guys what we did so far. First of all, I took off the fan of this motor here. Now the motor is naked because I wanted to get to these two wires right here. Okay, and one is red, one is brown. So I'm gonna check power and ground to both of those. So I did check power and ground down there. I'm gonna show you guys that right now. First of all, we took off the fan. The fan has 3 little bolts that look something like this, and they're right on the other side of this fan fins. 1, 2, 3, and I used the torque size here is T20. You might want to go one size up because my one size up is kind of damaged, but this worked well for me. And to get the fan out, you do have to push this and get the fan through right there. I'm talking about just the fan fins, not the whole fan assembly, because the whole assembly is a different story. So what I got here is on the ground here, my test light. And what we're gonna do here is I'm gonna see if I can manage this with one hand. So first of all, we went all the way down here. Let me see if my camera can go down there with us. And I checked power and ground into these 2 wires here. So right now we're checking power into one of these cables. As you can see, my test light lights up. There you go. And what we're gonna do here is now we're gonna switch to positive here. And on the other cable, you should have a ground. If you don't have power and ground there, your problem might be going back. You're gonna have to go check the fuses and stuff. So this one should have. Let me see if I got this. It's kind of tough to see, hold the camera and do this 3 things at the same time. Okay, my test light might not be touching over here. My positive might not be touching there. So I know I have ground and the positive and negative on both of these. There you go. You see my test light lights up. So we got positive and negative, and then this little module here, it's like a little fan resistor here. It feeds power to here. So what I want to do now is, I don't know if this fan's supposed to come out at high temperature, but what I want to do is I want to back probe both of these cables first. So I got to get these cables out of here somehow, some way. And one is red. We're gonna check power in red, and ground I can just back probe it. It's kind of tight spot right here. Don't miss and you go through the radiator, okay? So just be careful. So we got ground here. As you can see, we got ground all times. So I got my positive here. So we got ground here. Let's see if we got positive. Okay, let's switch to ground here. So now we know the brown gray color wire has ground, and the other one, and there's 2 little more wires. I'm not sure. I think that feeds signal back to the computer. But let's see if I can back probe. The positive is kind of hard angle to get to. And when the engine is running, you don't want to mess with your test light hanging like that. So I'm going to just probe the crap out of this. Okay, so I'm gonna have to be careful. Okay, we got positive here. We got positive here all times. So we don't know why this motor's not working. So we got positive and negative. So hopefully, I'm thinking our fan is bad here. So we'll get another fan and throw that in. All right, guys, at least you got to see how to test this fan and everything. So we definitely gonna change the fan on this little guy. And let's see how that goes. Okay, so I'm gonna use my scan tool to test the fan operation, and we're gonna press start. And we're gonna go under the hood to see if this baby works. So it does spin and work, but it could be that module's not controlling it, because now our scan tool is controlling it. But we don't have any codes for it. This is kind of weird. And let's see if we could do more diagnostic there with the scan tool. But our fan motor is working. It's noisy. It's very noisy. So we're gonna probably end up replacing it anyway. Anyways, let's go more further. Okay, good news and bad news with the Mercedes CL300 here. So we took it on the highway. Operating temperature is normal. Customer said it never went above 90. But he tells me it overheated. So the normal operating temperature is 90 for this vehicle. He said the fan wasn't on though. Fan doesn't need to come on always. Fans are not always on. But anyway, guys, check your vehicle properly and let your mechanic know. Because I called a few times and asked him so many questions. Does it overheat at the red light? Does it overheat on the highway? Does it overheat with the AC on? It's a cold winter day. He doesn't need an AC on. But sometimes you make that mistake. He's going to get charged for it. Anyways, we did all kinds of testing and checking. Fan hasn't come on still. It doesn't need to come on. But if the temperature go above, then I'm going to drive it for a few days and test it myself. Anyways, thank you for watching my video.